questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we got additional time allotted in our coaches' availability, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. Please wait to be called upon prior to asking your question, and please ensure that your lines are muted unless you are actively asking a question. We do have an adjustment two adjustments to our schedule for today for our coaches. Coach Hugh Jackson will be available for questions after Coach T.C. Taylor's availability. That'll be at 12:05. And for Texas Southern, assistant head coach Jerwin Wilson will sit in for Coach Clarence McKinney. So for Texas Southern, Coach Jerwin Wilson will be fielding questions for the Tigers. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, once again, for our media participants, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we got additional time allotted in our coach availability, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Coach, first and foremost, thanks so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. And could please, Coach, start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here. First of all, I want to congratulate Coach McDowell for winning the West and Coach Simmons for winning the East and getting to the SWAC championship game. And good luck to both of you guys and bring home that Celebration Bowl. Yeah, but we played Mississippi Valley at home on Thursday night, our last home game. We actually celebrated senior night against FAMU because in the middle of the week, Thursday night, we didn't want the parents to have to drive and take off work a couple of days to get there for senior night. So we moved it up. But we had the band was out. We had a nice little crowd. Good game. We knew Valley played hard on both sides of the ball. Coach is doing a tremendous job getting those guys to buy in and just learn their systems and play hard. And I think they bought in, and I think they got the right guy down there. You just need some time. And it was a good game. We got off to a 14-0 start, and then they scored on a slant route, a long slant route, made it 14-7. So it was a ball game. We scored right before the half, make it 21-7. Then we came out and got a long run. Well, we got a long run in the second half, like the second, third play to put us up 2 touchdowns. And then they was able to score, and we scored again, and they cut it to 6. And we was able to go down and put a field goal to make it a 2-possession game late in the fourth quarter. But again, take hats off the Valley. They played tough, and I was just proud of my guys, able to finish up with a win, especially at home. We was 4-1 at home this year, so you got to look at it and try to take as many positives as you can out of the season, and that's one of them. We was 4-1 at home. We won our last football game. Of course, the season wasn't what we wanted it to be, so we got to get out there on that road and beat those, pound that pavement and beat those trees and get us some more recruits in here, get us some more players, and evaluate ourselves, see what our weaknesses, our strengths was, and try to improve and get ready for another tough season next year.
Appreciate those opening comments. Coach, we'll open up the floor for questions. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Maynor.
Good morning, Doc. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, doing well. I need to be able to catch up with you on the off season, getting used to these calls. So I want to keep it going.
Yes, sir.
On all serious note, thank you. On a serious note, I did want to talk to you about two players that really had outstanding games to kind of close out the season for you on Thursday. One of them is Donovan Eaglin, I believe he's a sophomore, running back, 27 carries, obviously, but 207 yards and got in the end zone twice. And then the other one is a senior, I believe, Jacoby Hewitt, your wide receiver, that had 115 yards on 4 catches.
Yes, sir.
Talk about those two and your assessment of what they were able to do in that game and to some degree this season.
Yeah, Donovan, I guess he didn't have the season that we wanted him to have. I think he wound up with 750 yards, and I think he had 850 last year. So we really was expecting him to have a bigger year. He was banged up early, so we held him out a couple games early. And then we didn't run block the way we wanted to all year long. But he did have a good game last week against Valley. He had a couple of big runs. And we're looking forward to him coming back. And so that is a bright spot. And then Jacoby Hewitt had a great game and had a great season for us. And he missed some games in the middle of the season also with an ankle injury. But when he came back and we threw him the ball, he made plays. And so, he's a senior on the roster, but he got one more year. So we're happy about Jacoby will be back too.
It's good to hear. Frustrating, I'm sure, to some. But with that being said, I want to turn the page. Obviously, you talked about off season and getting out there, beating the pavement and looking for some new talent to bring into the team. Specifically, are there some areas that you really would like to see you land in terms of moving you back to a championship caliber program in terms of what you did a couple of springs ago?
I think it starts with the quarterback position. We all know if you got a quarterback, you got a chance. And, we played 2 quarterbacks this year, and both of those guys got talent and can play. Their problem was consistency. They just didn't play with enough consistency. Both of them can play a game and look great. I think both of them was player of the week at one time or another this week. Both of those guys was offensive player of the week. So that shows you that they can play the game and they got what it takes, but they just wasn't consistent enough and doing it week in and week out, possession after possession, quarter after quarter, game after game. So I think the one of the biggest things we need to do is we need to go out and get us a quarterback that can do it consistently. We got some guys that can do it, but they're just not doing it consistently right now. Add a couple more receivers. We got to get better everywhere. Really, we got to get, got to bring another running back. Got to get some more offensive linemen. Then on the defensive side, defensive line, we want to get a couple more of those guys, a couple linebackers. So we're losing a couple linebackers. The secondary guys are played pretty good this year, but we still got to bring in some more, get some more depth in that positions.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the offseason.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Maynor, how you doing? Doc Holliday, HBCU
Good.
Overdrive.
Good, Doc. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm just trying to wake up right now. During the game on Thursday, what was the things that you saw against Valley that kind of you kind of tailor your game plan around the type of defense that they was running?
Oh, well, we just want to be balanced. We was able to run the ball. I think Monroe had probably 70 yards rushing also, and Donovan topped the 200-yard mark. So we was able to run the ball. Anytime you can run the ball, that's going to open up the passing game. and we was able to get Jacoby down the field a couple of times, and so it just made us able to stay balanced and keep them off balance when we were able to run the ball.
Hey, Andrew, do I have time for one more question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you said something about looking for on the defensive side of the ball, and you mainly said the linebacker position. What are some things that you looking for in the offseason as far as skill wise, and also with your front four? What are you going to be looking for as far as when it comes to recruiting?
Well, we always look for difference makers, number one. If it's a difference maker, a guy can come in and start for us right now, no matter what position it is. That means we're getting better. So that means if we had a starter already at that position, we're that much better at that position. We have in the scholarships to go out and get linebackers. We lose one of our starting defensive tackles, so we got to go out and get a couple of defensive tackles. Safety, we're losing one safety for sure. So we got to go out and get a safety in the corner. We're gonna lose a couple of corners, so we got to go out and get some corners. So that's kind of how we do it. What you got the scholarships at is where you got to replace them at.
All right, man. I'll be looking forward to talk about you in this off season, man.
All right. Yes, sir.
All right.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. How's it going, man?
Good, Mo. How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Of course, I know you're heading to the off season. Have you already had your postseason evaluations with your players and your staff? And if so, can you kind of give us some information as far as how that probably went?
No, we haven't, Mo. We played Thursday. The guys was gone Friday, and then we're out all week this week. On Thanksgiving break, the school is closed, so the guys won't be back until next week. We have 2 weeks before finals and before Christmas break, so we'll talk to those guys and do their evaluation during that period.
Okay. And just on the final note, I know you talked to Dr. Cavill earlier, and you had said clearly you got to get out on the road, got to recruit and everything. This transfer portal has now been in effect for a number of years. How are you and your staff going to try to continue to battle and contend with this while kind of balancing off with your high school recruiting?
Yeah, we gonna probably try to go. We're gonna get back into high school for sure. We probably want to go about half and half. We just got to do a better job of evaluating the transfers. Make sure they transfer them for the right reasons. Talk to their coaches. Make sure they got some playing time. Make sure they got the right mental side, and they want to come in and play football. They want to be football players. A lot of these guys are used to the bigger schools and all the perks that they get with stipends and all kind of other perks. And if that's what you want, you need to stay there. Because you want to play football, which you're not playing a lot of. That's probably why you're in the portal. Then you need to come ready to play football, not coming looking for all the stuff that you got at those schools, because we don't have that stuff to offer.
All right, sounds good, sir. Enjoy the holiday week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mo. You too, man.
All right, Coach Maynor, as always, we appreciate your time and just want to tell you thank you so much for your time throughout the course of the season.
Thank you, Andrew, man. You're doing a super job. Keep it up.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right, next up, we will go to Alabama State. Head coach Eddie Robinson. Once again, if you do have any questions for coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate everybody coming on the call. So we went down to Prairie View, great place to play a football game. It was their senior day. They had a lot to play for, as we all know. And I think Coach McDowell had those guys ready to play like he does every week. We had a couple miscues on special teams that really hurt us. My thing is learned that from Coach Markham. If you can't kick, you can't win. So I think that was a big part of the football game that caused us some trouble in the game, but they play like a SWAC West championship team, and they played hard. They competed, and our guys came out and played. They took an early 7 lead. We had bad snap on the punt. So ball was at the 1 yard line. So down 7 at the half. Came back and I think they scored another touchdown. Got up on 14. My guys came back, closed it to 7. Score was 21-7 at one point. Kids kept fighting. Was able to make another play. Tyree Saunders had 2 long touchdown passes for us. So he played a really big day for us. Cut it to 21-14. Had a chance at an onside kick, but couldn't get it done. But proud of the kids because we went out there and played and competed. We wanted to finish off this year with 2 wins at the end, but we couldn't. But definitely congratulations to Prairie View and Coach Bubba McDowell. I know they'll represent the West really good. Playing against Florida A&M should be a really good championship game matchup that everybody's anticipating. So definitely want to congratulate both of those teams and both of those coaches for doing a really good job this year. And this week, we have one more game. We play on Thursday. It's the 99 Turkey Day Classic. We're back to playing Tuskegee, which is our traditional rival. Definitely a Thanksgiving Day parade. I played in the game, participated in it, so I understand the history and tradition of this game. Is the oldest historically Black college classic, the first one. And so I think everybody in this neighborhood and in this area from Tuskegee to Alabama State is looking forward to it. So the guys just need to go out there, play with a lot of intensity, protect our house. We're playing at home, so we want to finish up the season with a W against a really good Tuskegee team that's been having 2 weeks off, so they're going to come ready to play.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How's it going?
Man, I'm doing all right. Tell me about Tyree Saunders. You just mentioned him. 6 catches for 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. What did you see about him that you think is going to go into he could carry it to next season?
Yeah, I mean, he's a kid from Jacksonville, went to First Coast High School. So I used to live in Jacksonville from playing with the Jaguars. So some of the coaches down there. And traditionally, we've got a lot of kids from that area. So he's been a really good special teams player. Last year, he played a little bit. This year, he started off the season playing well in the first couple games and kind of slid off as far as a receiver standpoint, but still competed on special teams, never complained, just went out there and worked hard every day. And he got his opportunity. He took advantage of it, showed why he's here. He has a lot of speed. Took a little 5 or 10 yard slant and took it around 70 yards and then made another catch to cut the game to within 7 and gave us a chance for an onside kick and to try to tie it up. So you love kids like that just come out there and compete and play hard and take advantage of their opportunities.
And my second question is, with Damon Stewart, he threw for 372 yards. I think that is the most that's been a quarterback has thrown at Alabama State in a while. Tell me about his progression for throughout the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing about Damon is he's just a leader, has a lot of confidence. He believes in himself. He just has to understand what type of quarterback he is. Just stay within the system, and I think he'll be really good. But he gets better each week. The one thing you like about him, he doesn't make the same mistake. Some of the things he did, a couple of times he could have thrown the ball away incomplete, took some sacks that he shouldn't have, but he'll come to the sideline and understands what he's done wrong, and usually he doesn't make the same mistake. And so I think he doesn't have a lot of starts under his belt from a collegiate standpoint. But he's definitely improving week to week, and he's a leader. I think the guys really play for him.
Next question.
Dr. Bill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. You really answered my question in regards to 2 young players, your sophomore Stewart and Saunders, in terms of how they had a big game in this playoff type atmosphere in terms of coming to Texas. With that saying, I want to switch over and talk about your Turkey Day Classic in terms of Tuskegee. You alluded to obviously playing in the game, having a rival back on the schedule. What have you seen in terms of Tuskegee on film and how you look to prepare for them this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think defensively they do a lot. I mean, they'll move from different fronts. They blitz off the edge and those type of things. So they'll bring some pressure, try to get some pressure on us. Of course, I mean, we want to run the football. Prairie did a really good job of limiting our opportunities to run the football by putting guys in the box. So we have to be prepared for that same type of deal. And so, but they're going to compete. I think the biggest thing about this football game is that Tuskegee comes down here and they play hard every year. It's always been that way. Just a traditional matchup that's been going back to the days of Booker T. Washington. So this is something that's a big deal for this area, and everybody loves it. It's going to be a great game.
Coach Robinson, he had to kind of flex a little bit and slide that in there. Kind of going back and look at you, watching. That's a little bit of I like that. With that being said, if you would share a little bit, I know it's not over in your focus there, but could you provide us, since it's last time, probably get a chance in this kind of format to talk to you in regards to the season. What is the things that you want to do in the off season to prepare yourself to make a run at the championship in 2024?
Yeah, well, I think kind of like the other coaches, Coach Maynor said on the call, you want to replace the seniors that you're missing. I mean, Bubba Coaten Adams is a senior, so I mean, he led the FCS in tackles last year. He'll be right there. Your Michael Victor has a chance to play at the next level from a cornerback spot. So that's the obvious glaring needs. I have quite a few defensive tackles that we have to replace, but I think from a special team standpoint, we have to get better. I talked to my special teams coach today. We've had a great special teams year. If you look at the blocks, we've won games on special teams, but at the same time, from last year to this year, it's been situations where we haven't been good in the field goal game, punt snaps and stuff like that. Those type of things the D1 program can't have. So we want to be better in the special teams. I say it a million times to my kids: if you can't kick, you can't win. And so we want to improve in that area by just improving the overall talent level on the team. And I think that's the biggest things. And, of course, offensive line, you're always looking for those big guys, but the whole country is. So you just got to grow them up and redshirt them and get them ready to play. And by that second, third year, get them out there and let them compete.
Thank you, Coach Robbins. Good luck this offseason. Good luck on Thursday.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Robinson, good morning to you.
Good morning. How's it going, Ty?
Pretty good. Eddie, what player on your team, I'm with the Black College Hall of Fame Selection Committee also, and what player on your team would you consider most worthy to be honored as Black College Hall of Fame Player of the Year?
That's a great question. I think Bubba Adams. I think he's one of those guys that's just week in and week out. If he doesn't play well, we don't win. And he calls. He answers the call every week. He goes out there and plays, and if it's a guy that's going to get to the football every time, it's going to be him. I think his level of consistency. One thing I tell my guys: consistently good equals great, and he plays consistently good every week. And by the time the season ends or each game, it's like, wow, he's had 12 tackles, a sack and a half, and a forced fumble, and you didn't even notice it. So he's one of those guys that week in and week out, he shows up and plays hard.
And Eddie, you're a former Black College Player of the Year. So what qualities do you see in Bubba that most mirror what you and how you played?
I just think that he plays hard. He doesn't miss a practice, doesn't miss a game. Had shoulder, recovered from that, had a second one, recovered again. So I think it's the intangibles. Everybody loves to play football on Saturday, but I think he loves to play football during the week. And I think those are the type of guys you want to have in your program.
All right. Thanks a lot. And congratulations on the season and good luck this Thursday.
Appreciate it.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach Robinson, we sincerely appreciate. I believe we do have a question. Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach. Of course, I talked with you earlier this year, and you talked about the importance for Alabama State winning the Mac City Classic. Now, the next rivalry, Tuskegee, and we know the importance of it. But somebody that's played and coached in this, how important will it be for Alabama State to literally go 2-0 in your big rivalry games? Because I know it's something that does not happen as often.
Yeah, the Turkey Day Classic is right there. It's just as important as the Magic City, especially when you're playing Tuskegee. That's when the folks around here really want to win. It's only 45 minutes up the road. These two teams have been playing for a very long time. So for us, you have a Turkey Day Classic parade. It's just a big deal. Things will start on campus today. And so, we won't let the kids get distracted in it, but we understand the importance of this to our alumni, to the community, to everybody on campus. So we want to go out there and perform well and get a W.
All right. Sounds good, Coach. Good luck this week and happy holidays.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Coach Robinson, we sincerely appreciate your time and sincerely appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule each week to join us on these calls.
Absolutely, Andrew. Appreciate everything you've done the whole year and all of the media week to week. Appreciate you guys covering us. And I know everybody will be at that SWAC championship game and also the Celebration Bowl. So we should have a lot of good SWAC football left and wish both teams the best of luck. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, next up, we'll go to Alcorn State and Coach McNair. Coach McNair, first and foremost, thanks so much for taking some time to join us out of your schedule. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Pleasure, guys. Great venue. I think that both teams, it was a heavyweight fight, man. It was two teams that's competing and that was well prepared to play a good football game in Jackson. Great venue, crowd, tailgate, just coming in and just sending an atmosphere, coming into the game rather than the stadium. So it was good. A lot of things that took place that was great. The fans, the band, and a lot of things that players and coaches don't really see, but opportunity to play a good football game. It was a seesaw battle in the first half. We scored 14 in the first quarter. They come back and score 14 in the second quarter, go to halftime, knot it up. We come back and score 14 in the third, and they scored 7. Was able to put out a close victory. It was a great win for us. Under the circumstance, we had we lost a day of practice and traveling back from Texas, and by them having a bye week and the preparation they had for us, we didn't get an opportunity to do as many things we normally do during the course of the week. But under the circumstance, it was a good ball game.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Bill.
Kenyatta Cavill at the HBC on the victory over Jackson State. As you alluded to, it was a great atmosphere, and you could even see it via watching it streaming for the game. But I wanted to ask you about your senior, Montario Hunt. Had 88 yards, but 2 big receptions that were touchdowns in regards to that, how he played in this game. But also talk a little bit about how you transformed this team and switched to play to a different strength, which was passing the ball versus rushing the ball.
There's some things we look at through the week during the course of practice and film study. We kind of gauge everything off based on what teams give you during the course of the week is film study. So just knowing that we can throw the ball around the yard a little bit was very big for us, but just keeping them honest in the run game as well. I thought Howard did a good job of rushing the football at times. But I think the biggest thing was just staying balanced and being able to execute, the long passes and things of that nature. So it was good for us to see Allen be able to throw the ball around a little bit against a good football program. And also too rushing the ball as well. So I thought we did a great job of both. Coming into the game knowing we had to go against. Very short week of practice, and 2 of the days it rained on us. We didn't get a chance to really prepare as we needed to. But it rained on us a couple of days and had a couple of, I would say, kind of half practices during the course of the climate. But we fought through adversity. The kids are prepared for it. And we presented a good game plan together, offense, defense, and special teams. So we took that into Jackson and prepared to what we had to do to win a ball game.
Follow-up question. It's hard to believe that it's already going into the offseason. The season's complete. It seems like I was just talking to you in Birmingham to open things up. With that being said, you finished at 7-4, 6-2, literally a 50-yard field goal away from playing for a championship of the West Division. Talk about some things that you want to get done in the offseason to get, quote unquote, over the hump to get back into that SWAC championship game.
We get better. We got some things we got to address position wise. I think that we can get better at. Offensive, defense, and special teams. So we'll have a meeting today as a coaching staff and get together and see what we can do in terms of recruiting. Getting ready to go out and find some more players to kind of help us in those positions that we need to address. So I think the biggest thing is the interior fronts, both offensive and defensive side of the ball. Got to find some pass rushers. Got to find some tackles that can kind of help us out as well. The inside guys, the guard position, is always natural, but those tackles is the one that's that's more valuable to everybody than anything else at that position. So we'll address that during the course of the meeting today and figure out what we need to do to get better as a coaching staff and see how we can get things better here at Alcorn.
Thank you, Coach McNair. I look forward to the all season. Good luck.
All right, thank you, Doc.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach McNair, how you doing today?
Man, I'm good.
All right. Well, Dr. Cavill stole one of my questions about Monterio Hunt, but I want to talk to you about Malik Rogers. What is things that you saw in this game where his speed was utilized against pretty much one of the best defensive backfields in a SWAC?
Well, just moving those guys around, I thought that really helped us out through the week. Being able to put Malik outside a little bit more on some matchups that we saw that we can take advantage of. I thought that was one of the deals that we really saw that could give us a little advantage on things that they did in the secondary. They like to come down and play a lot of man and stuff and roll into cover 4. And, just motion and stuff like that. It kind of helped us out a little bit in terms of what we're going to do with the play. But Malik, he's been a great player for us all year, just about just putting him in position to make plays and things of that nature. And Monterio Hunt, he's been solid all year, he's been catching the pass for long pass touchdowns the whole year. So just hate to lose those two guys on our offense this year. So we have to go out and try to replace those two guys and try to find some more elite receivers like those two guys to kind of help us out at that receiver spot.
And my last question is about Aaron Allen, his maturation. What do you like what you saw about his maturation this season?
He matured, man. I tell you what, he's came along even after we signed Mako at that quarterback position in the spring and got a chance to bring him in. But Allen came in off of a shoulder injury and bounced back from it and played lights out the whole year, man. His passing really, really contributed to this offense. So wish we had him another year, but we got to find another quarterback at that spot. So let's see where we're going to be at in terms of that position as well. So we lose a lot of guys on offense, but we got to go out and recruit and make sure we identify those guys that can really come in and help us.
Appreciate you, Coach, and happy holidays to you.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations on another great season, Coach McNair. Congratulations on your victory. I'd like to kind of talk about the strategy to make it to the FCS playoffs. As difficult as it has become at winning games in the SWAC. Dr. Cavill mentioned you're 50 yards away from playing from the championship, a field goal. Is there a strategy for Alcorn and for you all position yourselves to be into the FCS playoffs?
I mean, you have to play some of those tough schedules that we talk about. You have to play those top-notch FCS programs to put yourself in position to play in those playoff games. You play pretty much a game schedule to where we had this year, where we had Southern Miss, where we had Stephen F. Austin, where we had McNair State. You got to play those caliber team to put yourself in that position. You have to win them. And in terms of that, you got to win the conference as well. We have a look at as administration in terms of who we play, and we got to win. We got to win those conference games.
And if you could talk about potential postseason all-star game participants from your team, who would you like to see play in one of those postseason all-star games?
Definitely be my running back, Javion Howard, and perhaps Monterio Hunt at the receiver spot. And those guys got a great chance of going to the next level. Even Malik Rogers, that kind of a player that guys that I would recommend to have a postseason All-Star game to be played in. So I know those three guys will be really good.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach McNair, as always, we appreciate your time, and I just want to say thank you so much for your availability throughout the course of this season.
All right, guys. Happy holidays, man.
Appreciate it, Coach. Next, we'll go to Bethune-Cookman. Coach Woodie. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. All right, do see that we have a coach with us. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule. With that being said, Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Florida A&M.
Really good atmosphere, for the players. Obviously, Fam and Coach Simmons, they did a really good job capitalizing on our 3 turnovers. We started out Fam 3 play and they punted the ball, and then we started on a 6 play drive and we fumbled. Our quarterback fumbled a jet sweep. Then Fam went up 7-0. Then second quarter, we threw an interception, and they went up 14-0 in double coverage. They ended up scoring. Then third quarter, we ended up not scoring, and we ended up scoring 7-yard rushing touchdown, 17-7. Then fourth quarter, we punted the ball, and FAMU ended up scoring on a 98-yard drive, 24-7. That really hurt us in that situation. We had an opportunity to starting to get momentum, and those type of situations, you can't win a game if you don't stop them. You got to be able to stop the run and got to take care of the ball. And but it was a good game. Hats go off to Coach Simmons and the Rattlers.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Bill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Bill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Woodie.
Good morning.
As we get into the Florida Classic, that matchup, you had a group of running backs that were able to put up 122 yards. And over the last couple of games, your running game seems to have gotten going. Would you talk a little bit about the things that you believe you're able to do successful to get them to have some success, not only in this matchup, but particularly latter part of the season?
Well, my offensive line started coming together. Obviously, we were rotating young guys in. We ended up starting a couple freshmen up front, and along with the individuals that was already here, and trying to get that chemistry. You know how it is up front. You got to have the chemistry working together, and we did some gap scheme stuff that helped us out, and played a freshman running back that also Markel Shaw. He ended up doing some good things for us, down the stretch, and with Walt Simmons, using his legs, being able to put him in a position to run the ball. And then obviously when you run the ball, obviously the passing game opens up a little bit, but we did some gap scheme stuff. And like I said, the O-line started to come together, and that's a big contributor of the running game.
Thank you, Coach. Follow-up question is turning the page, getting into the offseason. Obviously, the first year that you've been leading the program. So just wanted to get a little bit of insight in regards to, after seeing the league in action on the sidelines, what are your thoughts in terms of what do you want to see you and your program coaches do this offseason to make a push next year? in terms of taking the next step in your program?
Well, the big thing is recruiting. I'm excited having an opportunity, to come in after signing day and hit the ground running and get ready for spring ball.
Yes, sir.
But it's really interesting on how things are progressing. We got a field on campus in place, and now just trying to get a locker room so we can be able to practice and dress on campus. I mean, that's going to be huge, and it's going to help recruiting. But going out getting guys, to fit the culture that we're trying to build here, and hitting those guys in the trenches. I mean, we got to go out and get some guys O-line and D-line, and then we went through 4 quarterbacks this year. We got to make sure those
Yes,
guys
sir.
are healthy. I mean, and all of them return. So we're excited about the pieces that we need to get for this program, and continuously, building the culture. It's going to be really good, and really excited to go out on the road.
Certainly, Coach Woodie. Andrew, may I have one follow-up question?
Yes, sir.
Coach Woodie, you talked about culture and coaches as well. Could you give us a little insight in terms of how you see the culture, or what culture that you're wanting to see implemented there under your leadership?
Well, we want to build, obviously we want to build student athletes. We want them to do it the right way. I mean, it's a big deal of going about your business, being a pro, coming to work and going to work. That's our motto, and want to be disciplined. I feel like, we finished, I think, top 5 most less penalized team. And I think that's where you start. When you have a disciplined football team, the wins are, obviously progress. So we want to do it that way. That culture is starting to be a reality. You don't do your job, somebody's going to take your job. So it's a competitive world, and those guys going to come to work, and they're going to work every day. If they don't, then someone's going to take their job. So they understand that. We want to get 1% better, and I feel like we did. Obviously, you put all things out there. I mean, we've been through a lot. I mean, I know a lot of. So we want to take this to another level just by being consistent. And if you're consistent, good things are going to happen.
Certainly. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach?
Andrew, I'll jump back in there. One thing I do want to ask, in terms of your defense, you held FAMU to one of their lowest scoring games of the year in terms of 27 points. Can you talk about your thoughts in terms of where your defense is being able to lead this program as you move forward?
Well, again, I mean, when you look at, we're not big in stature. I mean, our 2 inside linebackers, one played corner, we moved him in, the other one played strong safety, and both of those guys, one is a freshman, one is a sophomore. I think the front has really helped us out throughout the season, and then, the back end has really been playing consistent. I mean, FAMU is a really good football team. I just think with our technique fundamentals, I mean, we could have been much better in that, tackling and getting off blocks. And a lot of those explosives we shouldn't have given up. But, when you got, good football team with the players they have, I mean, they can make you miss, and they can take it the distance, and that's what happened. So, again, as you say, the lowest, I think that if we would have done those things better, it may not would have been, 27, but those guys do a really good job, on offense and defense and even special teams, and they deserve to be where they're at in the polls, and we just got to get better on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach Woodie. Good luck this offseason. Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Coach Woodie, as always, we appreciate your time and just want to thank you so much for your time and your availability throughout the course of this season.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next up, we go to Florida A&M, Coach Willie Simmons. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Simmons with Florida A&M. Coach, first and foremost, thanks so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
Well, obviously, Florida Classic was a great day, great event, heavily attended. Just type of game you want to be a part of. Two teams, playing their hearts out against one another, which is what you expected. And fortunate for us, we made enough plays to win. Defensively played really well. Kept those guys out of the end zone other than one time, and then offensively did enough. Left a lot of things on the field, but did enough to win. Ran the ball, pretty well, 175 yards. So. All in all, again, good to get a win and have our first 10-win season here in a long time. And now we're in championship mode, obviously, getting ready for a Prairie View team coming in 2 weeks, for the championship game here in Tallahassee. So we're excited and take advantage of this week to prepare because I know they'll be prepared. And, let's get one more to hopefully finish this thing off the right way.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Simmons. Do you have one of those championship belts like your President Robinson?
No, I think he let the guys borrow it for the game, but after the game, we had to return it back to the president's office. So now that's a special deal he is, I suppose.
Yeah, that was a beautiful thing to see a president being able to get into that. So please make sure you share that with him. With that being said, on a serious note, obviously you got it done. In terms of rushing the ball, getting 3 rushing touchdowns. Terrell Jennings was able to get in the end zone twice, but it was a bevy of run backs that were able to do it. But more importantly, I'm not sure your defense is quite getting the recognition it should get in terms of just how talented it has been all season. Can you talk about the compliments of being able to run the ball, but also being able to get it done in defense, putting you in position to be successful this season?
Well, I think our defense has the misfortune of playing for a head coach who's known as an offensive guy. And as a primary play caller, a lot of the attention goes towards what we do on that side of the ball. Obviously with Jerwin quarterback and some of those guys, but they've quietly, turned into statistically the best defense in America. After the regular season, they're number 1 in the nation in total defense, number 1 in scoring defense. Number 1 in tackles for loss, number 2 in scoring defense, number 2 in third down conversion. And so, they're just playing at an extremely high level. It's a testament to the defensive staff. I gave those guys a shout out yesterday, but no, they're playing at a level that allows us to be a championship football team. So definitely blessed to have a great defense because we'll need it, to win this thing out.
Exactly. Turning the page to talk about the next matchup, which is the championship game in a couple of weeks. They say defenses win championships. What do you see from Prairie View that they're going to need, that you're going to need to do to stop them and from an offensive perspective of what they're going to try to get done against that vaunted defense?
Well, for us, it's always the same mandate. It doesn't change based on the game, and this championship game will be no different. For us, it's really 3 things: it's running the ball on offense. Our ability to run the ball and control the clock. It's stopping the run on defense and making teams one-dimensional, and it's being sound in special teams. And if we do those 3 things, that's the recipe for success for us. So we got to figure out a way to run the ball against this team. We got to continue to do what we've done all year, and that's stop the run on defense. And then with special teams, we got to cover. We got to do a great job of getting the ball off and just playing sound and winning the field position battle. But that's championship football at any high level, whether it's Division I, NFL. You look at it; those are the main formulas to winning. And if we take care of those, we think everything else falls in line.
Well, thank you, Coach Simmons. I tend to say good luck, but I'll just say I wish you well.
I appreciate you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Simmons, how you doing today?
Hey, Doc, how's it going?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So we already know on one side for the Celebration Bowl that Howard's going to be in it, be in Atlanta in a couple of weeks in December. But how are you getting your guys focused on not looking ahead towards that game or towards that day, and just to keep it one day at a time?
Well, for us, I mean, we've used the same model the whole season, and for us, that's to be process driven. When you're a results driven person, you tend to look down the line. This big promotion that I can get, this job that I'm trying to get, this woman that I'm trying to court. You look at the outcome of what you want, and that's what you focus on. But when you're process driven, you look at the steps it takes to accomplish the things you want in life. So am I taking care of the little things? Am I positioning myself that when the time comes to be ready to perform, I'm ready to do so? And for us, that's all we focus on. Today's the day of practice. This is practice 1 of 8. To get ready for this championship game. So we're not thinking about the championship game even. We thought about this morning. Could we do the things it took to get better this morning? When we come back to watch practice, will we get better in the film room? And when we come out again tomorrow morning, will we do the same thing? That's how we've gotten to this point this season. So, Howard is so far out of our, thought process right now. I couldn't even imagine our guys thinking about that. Our only focus right now is what we got to do today to prepare ourselves to be ready when the time to perform comes, in 2 weeks.
And my second question is, there's the 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. Tell me about your special teams that you see can be a potential game breaker in the championship game next weekend.
Well, we're blessed to have, one of the best punters in America, Trey Wilhoit, and then knock on wood, Cameron Gillis. Every kick that has left his foot that has gotten past the line of scrimmage has gone through the uprights. He's perfect on the season. We had the 2 blocks against Jackson, but since then he's been perfect on field goals. And so when you have that type of kicking ability, and then obviously the dangerous guys we have in the return game, it sets up well to have a great special teams unit. So for us, we know that's the 3rd phase of the game. It's just as important as offense and defense, and we practice it that way. So I think we're a well-rounded, balanced football team, and I think that gives us a chance to be successful on any given Saturday.
All right, thank you, Coach. Appreciate you. I'll see you, and I'll be there next week to be exact.
Sir.
All right.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, so you spoke about how to keep the team from looking forward, but the last time Prairie View was in Tallahassee, your team dominated them. How do you prevent your team from being complacent and lingering on the last time you played these guys?
Same mindset. It's about the process. Like I told the team this morning, we've been favored every game this year other than one. And we won every game we've been favored in. So we've done what we're expected to do. And that's the mindset. So you practice the way you're supposed to practice. You prepare the way you're supposed to prepare. You position yourself to play well. So if that allows us to dominate on a Saturday, then hey, that's what we should do. And so again, it's about the process. It's not about what happened weeks ago. It's not about what's going to happen in 2 weeks. It's about what we can do every day to get ourselves prepared to have that type of performance. And that's a maturity that this team has to have. And if we can continue that like we've done all season, again, I think the outcome will take care of itself.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, Terrence.
Hey, I just want to ask you about if you could talk a little bit about this matchup first, and just kind of what are you anticipating? I mean, the last game, notwithstanding, obviously.
Well, yeah, it's a championship game, so I expect those guys to come in and play with the thought or that they can win it, and that's what you would expect from those guys. And so we got to be prepared for a dogfight, and that's football. That's championship level football. There are only 2 teams left standing, and I reminded the guys of that this morning. There are a couple of teams playing. Obviously, you got the Turkey Day Classic, you got the Bayou Classic, but most of the teams in FCS football are turning in their shoulder pads today. And so we're blessed to be in an opportunity to still be playing football. And I'm sure those guys are too. And whenever you have that, you got to expect that they're going to be fired up, ready to come in here and play, And so for us, we're not worried about that, though. Our concern is us, like we've done all year. We take care of us and do the things that it takes for us to be prepared. And, that gives us the best chance.
Yeah. Hey, and I know you just said something interesting. I know it's about you, you're concerned about you, but you have a unique perspective of having also coached at Prairie View. I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about just kind of what's been the key, you think, for that program and building it and getting it to a point where now it seems like it's being able to sustain some success?
Well, I think they've done a great job of hiring coaches that understand, the culture and what it takes to win there. I think we started a solid foundation back in 2015, and Coach Dooley carried that on once I left. And then Coach McDowell, who, bided his time and was very patient as an assistant head coach over many years through many regimes, finally got his chance, so he's been able to learn from, Coach Northern before me, myself, Coach Dooley, even the guys before, and he's taken all that knowledge along with being a big time football player himself, and put it towards that program. So I think it's all a testament to him and his leadership. He surrounded himself with a quality staff, and they recruited some good football players. And I think that's the winning recipe. And I'm very excited about the job that he's done there.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
All right, we'll try to get one last quick question in from Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Simmons, good morning to you.
Hey, Ty, how's it going?
I'm good, Coach. I'm with the Black College Football Hall of Fame Selection Committee. So I just want to know, what player on your team would you most consider for the Black College Football Hall of Fame Player of the Year award?
Wow, man, put me on the spot. We've had some really good, some outstanding performances this year, but there's one guy that I say consistently has just brought it every week, and that's Isaiah Major, our middle linebacker. He's leading the conference, I think, in solo tackles. Right up there at the top of the conference, tackles for loss. It's gotten his hand on a few balls as far as fumbles. It's got a pick 6 this year, and I think he's the leader of our defense. And so we've had some great individual performances, like I said, but consistently week in and week out, number 0 is going to stand up.
Okay, Coach, thank you a lot.
Appreciate it.
Coach Simmons, as always, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to speaking with you again next week on our championship media session.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great week.
Appreciate it, Coach. All right, next we go to Grambling State, where Coach Simon will be filling in for Coach Hugh Jackson. Happy to be joined by Coach Simon with the Grambling State Tigers. Coach, first and foremost, appreciate your time. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping this past week.
Just want to thank you guys for having me. Sorry, Coach Jackson's not available. I know you guys look forward to speaking with him. Just recapping, we had a bye week where we had an opportunity to grow as a unit, to grow as a team, some team building, also an opportunity for our guys to get healthy, and just to go back to some fundamentals. So we tried to focus on us as a unit, on us as a team, offensively, defenses, and special teams in all 3 phases, and find a way to improve who we are and just get back to the fundamentals.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open it up for questions. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Simon.
Good morning. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing well. First question I wanted to ask you in regards to the opportunity to have a winning season. I know that a lot of expectations went into the season, but as you start creating steps, a lot of that is about winning seasons, getting the championships, but that ability to have a winning season is still on the table, and you can do it against your rival and make sure they don't have a winning season. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's a big part for our program, for our seniors. Yesterday we had a team meeting, and we did speak to the seniors that have been here. And the last time we had a winning season was 2019. Our guys are well aware of that. And to have the opportunity to send our seniors off with a winning season is big for us. This game is big within itself. It's the Bayou Classic. It's the 50th year. And along with that, it's 24-25 Southern. So having that opportunity to tie that up for those seniors in the 50th year, what a better way to be able to send those guys off.
Follow-up question would be, going into this matchup in terms of your offenses, seem to slow down a little bit the second half of the season, if I see that correctly. If not, please let me know. But if that's the case, what are some things that you want to see your offense kind of get back to it as much as they were really efficient in the first half of the season?
Yeah, and we play a role in that as coaches and offensive staff, and we've addressed that. But also we've put some ownership on the players to take the ownership for it, to go make plays. We have a talented group. We have a wealth of talent on the offensive side of the ball. And we've just shown them to where in the earlier season, the plays that they made. So regardless of what we do offensive, game comes down to players making plays. So this is a big stage for them. We're just trying to get them to understand and manage their emotions. Have emotions, play with emotions, but don't be emotional, right? Manage the moment and just let it loose. So we're excited for our guys to come out and play well, keep the plan simple, and allow them to perform.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck in the matchup.
Thank you, Doc.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, Southern has went through a coaching transition. How difficult will it be, if all, to prepare for a team in their situation where you don't know how they're going to be different going into a ball game like this?
At this point, we know who they are. They know who they are. We're familiar with Graves. Coach Graves has been around the SWAC for years, and if you've been around the SWAC, you know exactly who he is and what he does and what he brings to the table. But at the end of the day, Coach is not going to play in this game. So who's ever runs out first for the tunnel for Southern University, it's not going to matter. It's going to be the players. It's going to be our players. Whoever runs out of the tunnel for us, Coach Jackson, he's not going to take a snap. He's not going to throw a pass. He's not going to make a tackle. So this is an emotional game where we know that the records don't matter. The coaches don't matter. They're going to come and play for Southern University, and we're going to show up and play for Grambling Tigers.
As a follow-up, Coach, you mentioned the records don't matter, but for your program, if you win on Saturday, you have more wins than you did last year, and I'm pretty sure you'd be happy about the progress that the program has made from year 1 and year 2. So what would you say if you win Saturday, would you call this entire season a success based on how you guys performed last year?
Yeah, when I said the record doesn't matter, I'm saying the record going into the game related to how the teams are going to play. But to answer your question, the second part of your question, yes, without a question, it gives us something to build on. A winning season, that's a huge recruiting area for us in South Louisiana. So it's important that we show up and play well. And it does mean a lot for our program in year 2, going from 3 wins to 6 wins, and then have an opportunity to improve upon that going into the offseason.
All right. Do we have any final questions for Coach? All right, Coach, appreciate you take some time to join us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we are a minute or two ahead of schedule. We'll pause. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you. All right, once again, for all of our media participants on the call, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we've got additional time allotted in our coaches' availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. That being said, we go to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with the Golden Lions. Coach, first and foremost, thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Texas Southern.
Obviously, the game didn't start the way we wanted it to. We got down 21-0 in the first quarter. They came out. They were fired up. It was senior day. They got a really good football team, and we couldn't stop the bleeding. And best thing happened was it was end of the first quarter. And we came back in the second quarter, got back in the game, scored, made it 21-7. Then we get a fumble. The ball just drops out of quarterback hand. We drive the ball down to the 1-yard line, try to quarterback sneak. they knock the ball out of his hand and go 90, 95, 96 yards. Now it goes from 21 to 14 to 28 to 7. I'm just shaking my head, man. Like, it's unreal. And then right before half, they kick a field goal, make it 31 to 7. So go in. I say the same speech I've been saying all year, man. Just don't break. I say if you trust the process, if you fight hard, we're gonna go out. We miss a chip field goal, about 20 yards, and I'm looking like, man, wow, this is really impressive. And make a long story short, man, we stayed in the fight, came back, and scored 22 points in the fourth quarter, got the win. So it was good for our players, good for our university, helps us in recruiting as we move forward.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Bill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Bill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Hampton.
Good morning, sir.
I was watching the scoring updates, looking at the game, and you provide a huge perspective because I'm like, oh man, this is getting away. They're gonna not be able to get it done. Not gonna be able to at least get that one victory in terms of how much you got things going. But talk about Michael Jameson, the junior, and what he was able to do in terms of putting up some yards in the game to kind of push things along, 10 carries, 113 yards. But to sum it up, if you would, in terms of him encapsulating that, as I could hear you breaking down the game, you talked about young men continuing to push forward, even though it seemed like all hopes were lost. It was unbelievable. Things happening. It just doesn't make sense. And it was like another time, another game, another down, this is happening. But they fought back. And if we listen to you anytime this year, one of the things I always tell folks that come and play the Pine Golden Lions, I say, this team is not going to quit. You're going to have to smother them out, or you're going to find yourself trying to figure out what happened. And ultimately, you got the victory. So can you sum all that up? I know that was deep, but I really wanted to get into that frame of your mindset in terms of believing that. And it seems like the kids now have the ability to see that as they close out the season, going into the offseason, and be like, hey, if we stick with it, no telling where we can go.
Yeah, obviously, Michael Jameson is one of the tailbacks, man. We got about 5 or 6 of them. He probably wanted more snaps, and we got him from Campbell, really good football player. And then, obviously, some other guys got in front of him mid-season, and then he just stayed. He stayed the course. He didn't quit. He didn't whine, didn't complain. He showed up every day. And then, obviously, the game was getting out of hand. And I was like, man, let's put Mike in, give him an opportunity because he got really good hands. And so to see that young man make those plays, make those runs, it was great for him. And you're just talking about having the ability to just, you always talk about sticking with the process, and you say the same thing over and over. And I'm just a firm believer in the process. And I know everybody wants to win right now. You want the prize, but it's a lot of pain involved when you're doing some things that's never been done before, and you're trying to do them at a level that they haven't been done before. And I'm just smart enough to trust God, to understand that if I just stay in the fight, if I don't break, if I don't complain, if I don't mope around, I don't point the finger, good things gonna happen to me. And so every Saturday or man, you had to do a whole lot of stuff to hurt me. I've been hurt too many times in my life. And so I want a football team that thinks like me, that operates like me. I wake up every day motivated. And man, I mean, we all got issues. I can see my mom in heaven now. And she used to always tell me this story talking about she went to the bus stop one time and she sat beside a guy. He was complaining about the shoes that he had on. And she said, look to the right. And she saw a guy that had no feet. So which one would you rather be? You want to be a guy that got a pair of shoes on, or a guy that don't have any feet? So I'm just a guy, I don't have any feet right now, man. I'm just excited for this opportunity, our football program, the direction that we're headed. And that win was big for us because people kept saying, well, Coach, you keep saying the same thing every week. But guess what? Every time that God allows me to grace this podium right here and to talk to you guys, I'm going to have the same message, man. I'm a fighter. My team's going to fight. Man, I've been fighting my whole life. And so I'm just excited about where we're headed. And I think we're on the right track. we got to do like every coach said here. We got to go out and recruit some really good football players. And so we're excited about that. We've been doing it. I mean, recruiting's like brushing your teeth. The minute you stop, you start to look bad. So I want to think I got a pretty good set of teeth.
No doubt about it. Thank you, Coach. Tremendous answer. Quick follow-up, just asking you about what do you want to get done this offseason?
I mean, obviously for us, man, we got to get better on the offensive line. We got to get better at the receiver position. Week 2, we had 4.5 sacks. Tulsa couldn't block him. Most people ain't gonna be able to block him. That young man is really good, but got a sprained MCL, and we weren't able to get him back. Obviously, Rico Dozier, a really good linebacker for us, but we got to get some more guys to help him. We got to get better in the secondary. I know we had a really good corner, Laprel Boyd, and I've been hearing guys talk about who deserves to play in a bowl. I mean, I think that young man needs to be in a legacy bowl. That's just my opinion. I've seen him work. I know where he came from the time I got here to where he is. And, obviously, man, we played a whole lot of snaps on defense. So sometimes, you make plays, sometimes you don't. But I think he has the ability to be able to get a chance. But recruiting is our number one focus. Man, we'll get out of here Wednesday about 5 o'clock. But until then, man, we'll be on the phones all day long. And like I told the coaches, hey, you can open your door, you can go. I'll go down to the cafeteria, get y'all a sandwich, but it's time to work.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this offseason.
I appreciate you, Dr. Cavill.
Next question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Appreciate you.
Hey, good morning, Coach Hampton. All season long, every time we talk to you, it's the same message. I'm going to keep smiling. I'm going to keep smiling. And through all the setbacks, you kept that smile on your face. But when that clock hit 0 on Saturday, I think that was the biggest smile from you I've seen all year. What was that moment like to know that you guys finally put it all together and got that win done?
Well, obviously, I think the smile was just from knowing that the kids had finally got a taste victory. It's been a long time. And again, as the head of any organization, all you wanted the kids to do is to believe in what you're saying. And so it's hard to believe in something when it hasn't happened. And so they've never quit. They show up to practice. I don't have a whole lot of issues. We talk about being disciplined, talk about being on time, talk about being a good person. But, sometimes you need something good to happen to you. And, man, I think what you saw at the end of the game, somebody sent me a picture, even Mr. Neal, Charlie Neal, he said, Coach, man, we had all 52 teams showing. And that's what it's about because winning is hard. And I think what we don't understand is every coach on this Zoom call wants to win, and we all prepare the same. But, just only one team can win the game. And obviously, man, to be able to win it in the fashion that we did, I think it was just a lot of overjoy for me. And I think it all came out. It was it's a great feeling. And now, like I told the kids, man, I didn't even know we had an 8-hour bus ride back. I mean, I don't even know how long it took us to get home. But it was good for the players. It's good for our community. It's good for the people that support the program. And, man, we got some tremendous supporters. Man, we finna start on our locker room. Man, we got about $300,000 donation. I mean, I'm just claiming all this stuff, man, and people are doing it. And so I already know what it's going to be. And I already told people when I took the job what it was going to happen. And it's going to happen. And we just got to do our part, show up every day and go to work.
And then quick follow-up, Coach. In sports, we always talk about momentum. How much of a difference does this ending on a win make for this offseason?
Well, obviously, anytime you win, that gives you a good feeling going into the next game. Well, guess what? The next game ain't until we play Arkansas next year. I don't even know when the game is. So we get a chance to bottle up all these good feelings. So now we got to hit it got to finish class the next couple of weeks, hit finals, knock those out, come back. And now we got to head into January, get in the weight room, got to get bigger, got to get faster, got to get stronger. And we got to recruit some really good players to come in here. And I tell people this, man, the places that I've been, we always had one motto. We're going to recruit guys to come take your position. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. Like, we're going to look at everything in our program, from the coaches to the players to the support staff. How can we get better? And I think everybody understands that's one thing about me. I don't sleep. So I'm just excited for our kids, for our program. And then, maybe this week I get a chance to go watch my son at Tulane. They got senior day on Friday. I'm happy for him. And, man, I told you, man, I've been blessed. So y'all ask me why I smile. Man, I got the best life ever.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Take one final quick question from Doc Holliday.
Coach Hampton, how you doing? Doc Holliday, HBCU Overdrive.
How you doing, Dr. Holiday?
I mean, I'm doing good. Like I said, I asked this question with Coach Simmons, the three phases of the game, the offense, defense, and special teams. Tell me about the special teams, the block, punt, and the return for a touchdown that kind of put the game, gave you the game in that sense.
Well, I tell you what, you want to hear something really funny? It was defense safe. Okay. It was a defensive safe. We weren't even going to block it. We were just rushing it. And then they relaxed. And one of our guys, his mom, was the first game she got a chance to see him play all year, Cam Rutherford. So he goes through there, he rushes through and he blocks it. And then we had another young man, Khalil Arnold. He picks it up. And Khalil's made a lot of plays for us this year. And he picks the ball up while he's getting tackled. This guy has enough awareness to pitch the ball back to another guy. His mom is one of my biggest supporters. She texts me before every game, Coach, I'm praying for you. I just look forward to it. And so he hands him the ball, and this young man runs it in for a touchdown. So I tell everybody, man, the Golden Lions, man, we ain't roaring very loud, but we're starting to roar, and all the pieces are starting to come together. So we're excited about which direction that we headed.
Appreciate you, Coach. We're looking forward to the talk about you in the off season. You have happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and good luck to the Prairie View and FAMU and the SWAC championship game. Can't wait to watch it.
Appreciate your time this year, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we now go to Mississippi Valley State. Coach Kendrick Wade. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Coach Wade, first and foremost, thanks so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
Yes, sir. First of all, good morning to everybody, and congrats to Coach Simmons, Coach Gay. And congrats to those guys. Looking forward to watching that matchup. As far as my last game against A&M, man, we started slow, put ourselves behind the 8 ball, but we finished pretty strong. That's one of those games where you just kind of feel like you ran out of time. Those guys kept fighting, though. I was definitely looking to the other sideline, trying to read body language, trying to see if those guys were ready to fold because we kept putting pressure on them. They go up, and we start making some plays on the back end. And, they did a good job. So, Coach, my hat's off to Coach Maynor. He made sure those guys kept fighting, till it was all zeros on the clock.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Bill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Bill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. As I was trying to follow this game, it got to one point where I think it was like maybe a 7-point game, 21-7 or something like that. You got a huge, look like what would be a turnover, an interception, and I think a penalty brought it back. To your point that you kept pushing and fighting. And my understanding, I think they went down and scored after that penalty that took that turnover away. Talk about that, in particular, Kendrick Ross, the junior, as well as Jackson Davis. They had just 3 catches, but one 94 yards, the other one 83, respectively, and 2 of them were big 64, 62-yard catches where they get in the end zone once apiece. So you talk about those 2 things together.
Yeah, the interception, it was kind of bang play. I was hoping that they would have kind of ate that flag. It was a really good game, and you don't want, people to be talking about that one particular play to where it kind of swing the game to go one way or another. But we just kept playing. We were down 6 at that particular time. We would have got the ball on the plus side of the field, and they ended up going down, scoring a field goal, which put them up 9 points. So it was a 2-possession game after that. Kendrick Ross, really good local player. He's from here in Itawamba, Mississippi, a really good football player for us. He's done a really great job this year, and we're excited that he'll be back with us next year. Jackson Davis is a true freshman tight end. He finished 10th in the SWAC. I think he had 36 receptions, almost 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. So I think he's one of the top players in the SWAC this year. So both of those guys are really good playmakers for us, and we're excited to have both of those guys coming back next year. And like I said, the game itself, though, man, like I said, it was a really good game. That one play didn't determine the game. It was a crucial call, but man, it happens week in, week out. We done got some calls in our favor. As a matter of fact, it was a PI that wasn't called earlier that should have been called. So again, I mean, it is what it is. It's part of the game.
Yeah, certainly as you continue to build and work to get better, those things you want to be able to overcome. So I understand how those get you going. And it just was clear to me that it was significant in just momentum, at least in terms of the game. Jerwin Williams, in terms of your freshman, obviously we spoke about him several times once he got the nod and his maturity, kind of hitting the wall, but he bounced back. Talk about his progression, things that you want to see in the offseason between him and others. And then lastly, as part of that, what do you want to do this offseason with your coaches to take the next step in moving this program forward?
Tajarian Williams, like I said, really good player. He hit that freshman wall, which was expected. But the kid kept coming. He kept showing up each and every day. The biggest thing with him is going to be decision making, just kind of making the right decision. And he just had some crucial turnovers. It happens. So again, just protecting the ball is the biggest thing with him. When he was protecting the ball, he was SWAC freshman of FCS freshman of the week. And just kind of going where the progression tells him to go, he's going to be just fine. So we excited that kid will be back with us next year, and looking forward to a really good spring with that kid. As far as coaching staff, we're going to keep pushing. Most important thing we got going right now is recruiting. We're in office all day, every day. We're recruiting and getting official visits set up and home visits and things that we want to do to be able to get some pieces in here. And like I said, the foundation has been laid. So we like where we are right now. Like I said, from the moment I took this job up until now, I said we're process driven, not outcome driven. So during this process, there's been a lot of great improvements. And that's why we focus on it, because if we look at the outcomes, we only had one victory. I think that would kind of give you a false sense of the just the improvement that we've had over this entire year. So we're in a really good place right now. It's just a matter of getting our players in here, having a full year to recruit, a real recruiting cycle. I think the best is yet to come for the Valley. There's no ifs and buts about it.
Wade, look forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doc.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Wade, Doc Holliday, HBCU Overdrive. How you doing this morning?
Hey, Doc, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So you talked about Jackson Davis, true freshman tight end from DeSoto, Texas. How we talked about earlier this season, talked about Jaden Sisk, the freshman QB. What are your chances of coming back into the DFW area to actually recruit talent from the area and from Texas, period?
Hey, man, we're in there as we speak. We had a lot of success with those Texas kids, and they come from some good high school programs. And taking over a program like Valley that hadn't won a lot, that's part of our evaluations. We try to recruit kids that's coming from winning programs, and we know those Texas kids love ball. Most of those kids, the moment they step out of that crib, they believe in playing football. So those are the type of kids that we go after, and we'll continue to get more. We got some Texas kids. I'll tell you right now, we're going to have a whole lot more Texas kids on this roster. So you'll see us, Dallas, Houston, Austin, and everywhere else in between. We'll definitely be in the state of Texas.
And I know another thing you want to we talked about is the defense. As far as recruiting on defense, what are some things that you're looking for defensive wise for your recruit?
We got to get some pass rushers. We got to get some guys who can affect the quarterback. Interior wise, I think we're pretty decent. We're gonna upgrade in those positions as well, but we got to be able to get some guys that can get to the quarterback. At the linebacker spot, we got to get athletic. We got to get more athletic. We got to get faster. And the SWAC, this game is kind of played on the perimeter, so you got to have guys who can fly around, run, and get to the ball. So we got to get better in that regards. And we got to play. We got to get some corners in here. We play a lot of man. We like to put guys on island and say, you go out there and win your matchup. So we got to get some longer corners in here, some physical guys that's going to be willing to go out there and compete and win one-on-one matchups.
All right, appreciate you, Coach, and happy Thanksgiving to you, man.
Yes, sir. Happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody else on this call. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you throughout the season, Coach. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, next up, we will go to Prairie View A&M. Head Coach McDowell. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize your raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we've got additional time allotted in our coach's availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. Coach McDowell, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's big win against Alabama State.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, good. I'm just so blessed, that we was able to get through this week. We started out the week, I really didn't think we were going to have enough guys to finish, to go into this game. We got hit with the flu bug, several guys a lot of my starters went down Monday through Wednesday. So it was testament to a lot of them prayer warriors out there, which I thank you for, getting our guys healthy, and praying to get them healthy and get back to play against a good football team in Alabama State that came in, and played the game we knew that they was going to be able to play. We knew that this was going to be a tough game. Defensively for both sides, they're picking at the right time. We're picking at the right time to get, which team is going to be able to play 4 quarters of football. It's a team that was going to come out victorious. Again, with 7-0 going in halftime, and then just came out. We took the ball down the field the second half. Took a lot of time off the clock in the third quarter, which was really beneficial for our defense, for them to continue to go out there, be rested, and put pressure on their offense, and again, just trying to sustain enough play and motivation defensively, to give it back to our offense to where they can put the ball in the end zone, again, give us that victory. But again, we knew it was going to be a tough game, and it was, 2 good defense, like I say, that was peaking at the right time. Now we just got to get ready, get everybody healthy, going into FAM again and play against this group again, Coach Simmons and the Rattlers, and and get ready to play a good football team. Again, going down there, we know what happened last time. We didn't have everybody with us last time. Had some guys hurt, key injury guys hurt. Some guys suspended during the course of that game, but we should have everybody healthy, ready to go. And main thing, like I told my guys, look, last time was last time. We had an opportunity. We said that we was going to be back here. I told you guys we were going to be back here at the end of the Grambling game. We just had to stay the course. Continue to go through that process, and see it through, and these guys did just that, and they've been resilient, man, and I love them for it, and they're ready to go. So again, now we just got to get ready to prepare even more so for these next 2 days before the break, and come on back next week and get ready to go down and play, FAM again, and see what happens.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Charles. What's good, buddy?
First and foremost, congratulations on clinching the SWAC West. The question I wanted to ask, I wanted to go back to game planning for this Alabama State team, which was one of the top defenses in terms of stopping the run going into this game. And from Charlton Trezon this past season, I believe this game was his lowest number of pass attempts. And I wanted to ask, did the game flow sort of dictate the only 11 pass attempts, or going into this game, you guys knew from a physicality perspective, you matched up with this tough Alabama State front seven?
I think more the game plan. Again, we knew coming into this game, we knew the secondary that they had. I mean, they were the best secondaries out. Again, we played against all year, man. I mean, they got some dudes back there, and I thought coming into this game, it was going to come down to how well we run the ball. And again, you guys know as well, we got backs back there that can run the ball. We got the big O-line up there that has sustained their athletic ability, their wherewithal to know what to do in the run. We predicate everything off the running, man. And with those backs that we have, even though that we're still a little banged up, these guys came in, we got Caleb Johnson back, and then shoot, man, coming out second half, we like, look, they're not letting us throw the ball, so we're gonna have to run this thing, as best as possible and shoot. And they took on the challenge, and the coach Green, put it to them. Like, look, man, we gotta go out, we gotta run it, we got to sustain the blocks, in order for us to get in field position, to where we can hopefully open up the passing game. Did that happen a lot? Not as much as we thought or wanted, but again, anytime you can get that running game going, it makes your offense that much better.
And let me follow up real quick with that in regards to the play of Chris Herron as well as Shamar Savage. How much has their emergence really helped this offense?
Well, they're big time players, man. Again, it's just about us, figuring out when to put them in, when to use them at the right time, and Chris Herron is without a doubt one of the most talented athletes we have on this team. And as I told the coach, we got to be able to get him on the field more, and put him in position to do some things. Again, now that we got everybody healthy, going into this game, we're going to see what happens as far as getting a lot of guys involved that haven't had a chance to get playing time. As I told them, say now it's your time. We got everybody healthy. We won't have to play everybody in order to beat a good football team like this. We have to play really good football for 4 quarters. These guys took it to us last time. In order for that not to happen, we're gonna have to play lights out football. It be offense, defense, and special teams. So everybody has to contribute, and those guys are going to be a big key, to contributing to a win.
Sure thing. Appreciate you, Coach.
Sure.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach McDowell, and congratulations on winning the West Division. Hey.
On that steak, baby.
I got you. You did more than earn that one. Trust me. He might give you 2. But with that being said, in all seriousness, I just wanted to say I love the idea of Texas players going to HBCUs, getting educated, going out around the SWAC, MEAC for that matter. But Doc Holliday wants to send all the players outside of Texas, so you might want to build a fence. Just give me a heads up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that, Doc.
In your mind, the best defense you've seen this year, and that's saying something. You've seen some good ones. 170 yards in your transfer that came over. Caleb Johnson really put his mark on it, leading the way with 77 big yards in terms of controlling that clock and then being able to go over top in terms of getting those big pass plays. Talk about the ability to create a game plan that was extremely effective against a very tough defense and playing complementary football on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and again, as you said, Doc, again, we know it. Again, I'm gonna reiterate, Coach Frederick had a great game plan. Of course, the first half didn't go the way we planned, but that's what they get coached. That's why they get paid. They get paid to coach. The players get paid. Or should I say, they have to go out there and make plays. As I tell players individually, you got to be able to win the battle. In order to be a good football team, and to beat the good football team, be it defensively or offensively, Doc, you got to win that battle. And they took that challenge to second half. Coach Green, Coach Frederick challenged those guys. Look, hey, this is what they told them. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to go out there and run the ball. Hopefully open up the passing game, and you guys gonna have to do your 100. Across the line. And they took on a challenge, and they did just that. Like I said, Caleb came back at the right time. Again, he's not even 100%, but Caleb Johnson at 75 is better than most backs, in this league. And that's why we went and got him, man. He did what he had to do going there. Then we were switching him in and out with Ahmad, who's not 100% healthy. But we got the yardage that we needed to do to move the ball, to get in scoring position, and that's a mark of a good offensive team, and that's a mark of a good offensive coach, coordinator. Again, just putting guys in position, make plays, and those guys know as players they got to go out and execute it.
Quick follow up. You talked about the health of your team at the time when you played FAMU early, and now what is the health of your team, particular Brian Jenkins Jr. that was, I believe, hobbled at the end of the game, maybe even on crunches. Do you think he has a chance to get back with some other guys over the next 2 weeks?
Absolutely, Doug. Yeah, just on the shin, a little swelling there right now. But no other issues going on there with ligaments or anything, just some muscle things. So we should have plenty of time to get the muscle back in working condition, get some blood flow down there so we can get him going, and he'll be ready to go. Again, we'll have Shamar Savage back with us as well, who didn't play, who's been showing up every game.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck next matchup.
Next question goes to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, Coach McDowell. It's Lionel with a PB versus Everybody podcast. I know we talked about it last week about being in the same position again as last year. We talked about Caleb Johnson already, who mentioned that, hey, I came here because I have a chance to win a championship. Juice Jenkins has also made similar comments. Talk about what it means, right, for you, for the team to get over this hump, right, and get a chance again to play for a SWAC championship.
I mean, it means a lot. I mean, it was like I said. It was big. Again, like I said, we've been in this position several times. When Coach Dooley was here, Simmons, we had chances, in the past, to secure a bid, to play for the SWAC championship, and it didn't happen. And of course, last year we was in the same situation. And again, I've always reminded. I try to not let guys go back to the past, but sometimes you have to remind them of what happened in the past, in order to move forward, and put it on their mind, like, hey, you know what, this can't happen again. And we've been talking about that all year long. Again, as I told them, I said, look, when we lost to Grambling in the Cotton Bowl, I said, we will be back here again. I promise you that. But, we still have some work to do. Once we get there, we got to take care of our business. And they knew exactly what I meant by that. And they've been going out these last several games and putting things together, clicking, as we say, all on the same page, offensively, defensively, special team wise. And, even offensively, we still got some things to work on. We're leaving plays out there, but more importantly, as you all know, if they don't score, defensively, we've been balling out, man. And I'm so proud of those guys. I'm so proud of Coach Rock and the way he's motivated these guys to step up, and make plays. And again, it's not just one player. It's across the board from the front to the back, and guys know that, again, when one guy go down, the other guy has to step up. And that's what I'm loving about this group of guys right now. They're taking care of each other. They're with each other. They're encouraging each other. And that's the type of attitude, that we've been trying to build with these young men.
Last time we got at Tallahassee, the game was close throughout the first half, right? Kind of got away in the second half. It's a brand new 60 minutes now, right? Talk about what preparation looks like for you guys as you get ready to go back to Tallahassee and try to do what a team has not done in 5 years at Bragg.
Again, yeah, we just got to go out and just continue to do what we do best. We're playing at a high level right now, and we got to stay there. In order for us to be, in the ball game with this group of guys, we got to do our 100, and that's across the board, and that's from the coaches to the players. Like I said, we had a great first half with this team, and then we came out. Second half, don't know what happened. We figured it out. Again, left a lot of plays out there the second half that score probably shouldn't have been as big as it was. But again, anytime you don't do what you're supposed to do, be it offensively, defensively, or as a player doing your job, good teams like that are going to exploit you, and they're going to take advantage of it. And that's what Coach Simmons did with a group of guys that been winning all year long. So we know what they are capable of doing, and we know what we're capable of doing. But now we just got to go out and match the energy and type of play that we've been playing this last 2-3 weeks. In order for us to give us a good chance to play against a team again that's been winning all year and been balling all year long.
And we appreciate you answering my questions, and PV Nation, we behind you.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey,
I just want to ask you, what do you feel like has been the key for your team this season as they obviously overcome a lot? I mean, and to be back here What's been the key for you guys?
Again, just figuring out that they can't do it by themselves, again, and when I say that because again, a lot of people, they criticize, the coaching staff, about what's not being done out on the field, and I told the coach, I told the players, look, man, you got guys, you got people talking about us, we can't coach, they want to fire us. I said, we putting you guys in position to make plays. Now, if that was a case where we didn't have athletes to do that, I would say, okay, this is all we got. But we don't have those guys. We went out, got you guys. We chose you guys for a reason. We are here for a reason. We are good for a reason. But at the same time, you got to understand, you have to do your 100. You got to do your job. And if we go out and do that, do what is asked of you guys to do, as coaches continue to put you in position to make plays, you got to make them. And again, it goes back to, you trusting what the coaches tell you to do and you executing the play. So many times, throughout the year, we wasn't doing that. We was also being a little disrupted out there on the field, in our feelings and with motion, and our emotions causing us to get penalties, which we have cut down significantly on. And as I tell guys, I mean, shoot, man, we in position to stop guys, or we in position to make a play. We jump off sides, false start, or we're doing silly things to get a personal foul and keeping guys in the game. And we have to get past all that. In order for us to do that, we got to figure out what it is that, where we want to be at the end of the year. Because if we're going to be where we want to be at the end of the year, where we are right now, there was no way that we can continue to do the things that we were doing in the early season. We got to figure out how to get in position, stay there, and not worry about what other teams are going to do. Once we get into, and I told them, so once we get there, and I told them it's going to happen. Now we just got to take care of our business, and that's what we did Saturday.
And also, just a quick follow up. I mean, is there any kind of vindication to? I mean, yeah, you guys were picked to finish fifth in the SWAC West, despite having, a lot of talented kids coming back. I mean, from a team that was pretty successful last season. So, is there some vindication of being back here again and showing? And this is obviously proof to the kids that it's not about what people think about you; it's what you actually do on the field. Obviously.
You got that right. It is. We made it very clear to them. Hey, they voted you guys here, even after the season you had last year. What are you going to do about it? We've been throwing it in their face every chance we get. Here, this is where they voted you guys at. What are you going to do about it? Coaches can't get out there and play for you. All we can do is call plays and put you in position to make plays. Now you got to go out there and prove everybody wrong, and that's what they've been doing the last several weeks.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Next question goes to Cal Mosley.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Look, I have to follow up on what Terrence just asked you. You pulled my coattail on that. You said these guys voted us at the bottom, and there's no way we have a good team. Talk about the good team aspect and how you're going to be able to focus these guys coming off of Thanksgiving. That's a lot of distractions there. How you get to focus these guys for the task ahead.
Again, they know what the task is. Again, and they deserve what they have right now. And again, that's what this week we're just gonna be getting ready. Again, we're preparing even more so for the Rattlers. Again, we know what they're gonna do. They know what we're gonna do. And again, we just got to go out there and play, lights out football against a good football team, without a doubt. They're the best right now, and rightfully so. But again, we have to go out. We go down there. We're going to their place again, and guys got to understand that it can't be a showing like we had last time down there. Again, it has to be something totally different. In order for that to happen, they got to stay the course. They got to stay, locked in. Right now for the next 2 days before we go on break, and they got to be ready to get locked in when we get back next week. Again, our regiment, our routine is not going to change a lot other than just this week, giving the week off, but we're going to come back in, get some running in, get some more practice in, and get ready again, go down and play against a dang good football team.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach McDowell, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you next week on our championship session.
Thank you, guys. Happy holidays.
Appreciate it, Coach. Would like to make one update. We will have Coach Wilson filling in for Coach Clarence McKinney with Texas Southern for our next coach's availability. So Coach Jerwin Wilson will be filling in for Coach Clarence McKinney. I do believe that we have Coach on with us. Coach, if we could ask you to please start your video. All right, I do see Coach there. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially follow-up. If we've got additional time allotted, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Wilson with Texas Southern. First and foremost, Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping the Tigers' most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Another game, another opportunity for our seniors to go out and finish their careers. Obviously didn't finish the way we wanted to do. Started out fast, kind of didn't finish the way, obviously, 31-7 going into halftime. Hats off to those guys, UAPB. They came back, continued to fight, and obviously they came up with the victory.
Thank you so much for those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Bill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Bill's inside HBCU Sports Lab. As you mentioned, obviously the game didn't go the way you want in terms of closing things. Did get out on a fast start. But if you would, the bright spot in a lot of this was Ladarius Owens and the season that he had, just under 1,400 yards, 1,399, I believe it is, 204 yards, but eclipsing 3,000 yards for a career. Talk about your perspective of this young man and what he's been able to bring to the table and his accomplishments beyond what he was able to do for the team this year.
Yeah, no question. Most importantly, he'll graduate here in December with a degree. But on the football field, he's been a tremendous young man, has definitely developed as a complete back, one that you'll definitely see more of. His future is bright. He's a guy that has definitely continued to grow each year in our program. And he's one that is definitely, you saw kind of him being a complete back week in and week out. And he's a guy that's definitely shown. And obviously now he's etched in the record books. So that's something that you can't take away from him.
Follow-up question in terms of the offseason. I know there's been some questions out there, but from your perspective, what do you see going on this offseason in terms of moving the program forward?
I think we're right there. Obviously, you look back at it, hindsight 2020, you lose 4 games, 6 points or less, and you flip that, obviously we're looking at a different result right now. But we just got to be able to get over that hump. And obviously we did graduate 17 seniors, but at the end of the day, defensively, we returned 11 starters on defense. We returned 7 on offense. I think that a foundation like such is can provide huge results going into next year. Obviously, we got to attack the offseason hard, no different than any years in the past. But we do have to obviously focus on finishing those games and not coming up short.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this offseason.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay. Doc, can you hear us? You're on mute.
Yeah, that was my final question. We didn't hear you coming across on your side.
Okay, no problem. Next question was Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. I would be remiss if I didn't ask this. Is Coach McKinney still with the program with you doing the presser today?
Yes, sir. Coach McKinney is still the head football coach at Texas Southern University. Unfortunately, 3 Houstonians who, as well as another young lady, were in a tragic car accident. And 3 of those guys Coach recruited and coached at University of Houston. One of those guys is being funeralized as we speak. So Coach is obviously being with that family, obviously having a lot of personal relationship with those guys as well. So that's where Coach is at this moment.
All right. thought to ask, Coach. I know Saturday was kind of a tough deal for you guys to have a lead and then lose it there at the end. I guess what lessons could be learned not only from that game but from the season, just about finishing strong and kind of like finishing up the task at hand?
Yeah, I think you can learn from all of them. You just got to go back and look at it. Obviously, hindsight 2020, but you just got to go and learn from each loss, every loss. You just got to use it as a lesson. So that's something that we got to continue to do. We got to focus on putting that killer instinct into our guys, and that's something that we have to address in the offseason. But obviously, when you get a lead like such, you want to be able to finish and close out games, and that's something that obviously we need to address.
Thanks.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach, how you doing today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. Tell me about special teams play. I know we saw. I talked earlier about the block punt. Tell me about that particular play in the game that kind of changed the momentum of the game.
Definitely. You talk about being able to play. Obviously, these three phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. Special teams is no different. It's a very integral part. But at the end of the day, guys just have to do that 1 of 11. One thing we preach. You know, it's a one play mentality. We just got to go out and execute. Didn't get it blocked up as we should. It wasn't an outnumbered deal. It's just we just didn't do our 1 of 11. So that's some of the things we preach week in and week out. But obviously, those guys just got the block punt turned into a touchdown.
Appreciate the answer, Coach.
Next question goes to Jay Keith.
Coach, JT Keith, USA Today. Do you expect your quarterback to be back next year, and will you recruit quarterbacks, or are you happy with where you're at with the quarterbacks that filled in this year?
We're always recruiting. Obviously, we expect every player in this program to be back, but we're very understanding of the transfer portal. But at the end of the day, we expect every guy that's on our roster to be back. Again, we talk about 11 defensive starters and 7 offensive starters coming back. Those guys are in that number. Regardless of who's at quarterback, we feel like we have 2 good guys that can take the helm and get us to the championship. That's our ultimate goal. So we expect both of those guys to be back. And obviously, you asked, are we recruiting a quarterback? We're always looking to improve our program, and we look at every area.
And then what is your biggest need going into the offseason, sir?
Obviously, losing 2 offensive linemen up front,